Hi and welcome back. It's the Digital Media and Methods tutorial series, and today we will talk about TikTok again, but this time we will focus on the so-called performative memes and discuss how to study them visually using TikTok metadata. And well, obviously, this comes with some ethical considerations and analytical challenges. The platform is dynamic, it's extremely body image dominated. TikTok memes are multimodal. Imitation plays out at all kinds of performative levels, including gestures, including movements. Obviously, it also includes shared sounds, and very often also speech templates. And speech is a very interesting feature to look at in terms of the dynamics of memification on this platform that we will learn how to trace. So bear with me, the video will have two parts. In the first part, we will talk about sound metadata. Specifically, we will use text extracted from speech contained in original sounds. And this transcript column, this is an output of speech-to-text converter. It's an external tool designed by Jason Chow that you can learn how to use in a separate tutorial. But basically what it does, it accepts audio files, then it runs these files through Google Cloud Speech-to-Text API, and then it returns a spreadsheet file with transcribed speech. And this output can be easily merged with TikTok metadata and analyzed as text. So if there are any imitation patterns to be found here, we will be able to identify them. Then in the second part of the tutorial, we will learn how to study videos that share precisely this kind of sound-based template, and we will study them visually. So we will work with frames extracted from a small collection of videos that all share the same speech template, the same sound. And then we will use the software ImageJ that you can download and install from here to create visualizations that look like this. And of course, this is a very specific composite image that comes with specific analytical affordances. What it does, it foregrounds embodiment, it captures movement, but it reduces traceability. And obviously, this is an important discussion in the context of ethical fabrication and in the context of social media research with images, where we have to consider questions that emerge when studying mimetic performances that are potentially sensitive, even though they are public and even though they aspire to go viral. So we will work with our trusted board in the house dataset. It goes back to a pandemic sound meme, to a hip-hop track uploaded by Curtis Roach, and based on this meme, a hashtag challenge has been initiated, and we used this hashtag to collect metadata for these 800 videos. So, well, obviously all these videos use the same hashtag and they are networked through this hashtag, and some of them also, this is to be expected, reuse Curtis Roach's board in the house. And this registers then in the columns music author and music name. So as you can see, there are quite many actually adaptations of these song that directly reference Curtis Roach, probably by simply using use this sound button. So just a small footnote, Curtis Roach is the only author name that I have not de-identified in this dataset. All other author names have been pseudonymized to reduce traceability. And before we actually look at the mimetic adaptations of this sound, I'd like to play Board in the House in its first initial variation, just to remind you of this masterpiece. And I'm going to use this column TikTok URL to redirect you to Curtis. So here you go.
Bored in a house and I'm in the house bored. Bored in a motherfucker in the house bored and I'm bored in a motherfucker in the house bored. Bored in the house, bored in the house, bored. Bored in the house.
Great. So this is Curtis Roach, but then there are many original sounds in this dataset, which means that content creators apparently respond to this hashtag challenge with their own adaptations of this song. So to actually explore these adaptations, we have indeed extracted speech templates and then we converted speech to text. But why did we do this? The thing is, original sounds on TikTok are interesting because they allow content creators to upload literally any kind of sound, and this can involve new music, original verbal commentary, speech, but it can also involve slightly modified or even completely identical recordings of popular songs such as Board in the House that continue to circulate without any reference to the initial author. And this is why most of the time original sounds have different sound IDs, or they have different music IDs, even though they contain the same sound object. So let's just explore this a little bit by applying a filter to the column music name to filter out all videos that use original sounds. And then let's filter this transcript column by the usage of Curtis Roach's lyrics, right? So let's just use text contains and then perhaps maybe just in the house. And let's see. Well, as expected, some variations, and many of them do seem quite similar. We do have some, indeed, some mimetic adaptations, such as, okay, I'm drunk in the house, I'm fat in the house. Pandemic vibes coming through here. We also have this very long string of speech templates, and I would suggest we will use the column music URL to actually play the sound and see what happens.
Okay, I'm bored in the house and I'm in the house bored. Bored in the house and I'm in the house bored.
Okay, this seems like Curtis Roach, but remixed in a way. What about this?
Bored in the house and I'm in the house bored. Bored in the house.
The same. What about this?
Okay, I'm bored in the house and I'm in the house.
This seems like the original song by Curtis Roach, but published by a different author.
Okay, I'm bored in the house and I'm in the house.
Okay, and this seems like an authentic reenactment, of this song. Of course, very interesting in terms of sound meme studies and in terms of tracing the reenactments that are driven by speech in this case. But let's just look at one specific example that I find quite challenging actually to study. So it starts, I have TikTok now, so how do I do it? Do I just sing? And then it adopts the lyrics. We see it's the same sound ID, which means that the sounds originate with the same music author. And now I'm just going to play it for you, maybe. Let's try this.
Hey, I have TikTok now.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
No.
So how do I do it? Do I just sing?
No, you put that.
Because I'm bored in the house. Because I'm bored in the house. Why I'm saying I'm bored in the motherfucking house?
Mom, you put the.
Oh, you put the song in the back?
Yeah.
Great. So apparently, also if we look at co-hashtags, moms of TikTok, TikTok moms, motherhood, right? Mom life, TikTok with a C, which is kind of cute. Moms over 30. So this seems. Wine glass emojis. So this seems like an interesting performance, right, of motherhood, and it also seems to be an interesting example of trend hijacking that I would suggest we explore through visual means. Right, so it's another day, and the second part of this tutorial, we will focus on how to visualize performative patterns that make this video collection mimetic. And obviously, all these performances are networked through the same sound. They all share the same speech template that has been uploaded as an original sound by the same music author. But if we look at the names of creators who have published these videos, all these names are actually different, which means that we can expect a collection of videos uploaded by a bunch of momfluencers, TikTok moms, who participate in Bored in the House challenge. And I've already downloaded these videos. I simply used the column TikTok URLs and I copied these URLs into a download manager. I extracted frames from these videos using Video Frame Extractor by Jason Chow. And there are 2 videos that explain how to use these tools. So now we can actually focus on how to work with this material visually and discuss what it means to reproduce this type of content for research purposes in ethical terms. So what can we say about this sound meme? First of all, it used to be quite visible. It was uploaded by a popular momfluencer account and then it was reused in something like 20,000 videos. So indeed, we are looking at a viral speech template. Many videos also have the same performative pattern, which is basically the zany face of moms doing TikTok. So embodied performance and speech really drive this meme. Content creators also participate in a challenge, in a viral challenge Bored in the House. Their intentions are obviously to get their videos on the For You page, and so they use the For You page hashtags. The context is the first pandemic lockdown. It's been a while, and many videos feature family members, including kids. So all of this is ethically indeed quite challenging in terms of displaying this material in new contexts, including the context of meme research. Some extent of de-identification will be required, especially since we are dealing potentially with larger collections of videos. Asking for informed consent is not really an option, and I'm also not quite sure whether it would make any sense in the context of this case study. So we'll have to account for questions of ethical fabrication and also for the dynamic nature of these videos. So I'm going to show you some options here. We will use the tool ImageJ, and we will create two types of visualizations. We will make a montage of video frames, and we will also blur this composite image to prevent traceability. And then we will create a stack of video frames using Z projection, which is a very interesting feature of ImageJ that allows us to create this type of images. So now I'm finally going to open ImageJ and show you how to import a sequence of video frames. Every video is a sequence of still images. In ImageJ, we can simply opt in for File, Import, Image Sequence, and then select the folder of video thumbnails that we want to analyze, confirm, sort names numerically should be fine, confirm again, and then the tool will process the images. Ideally, it should result in a dynamic, preview of all the frames we've extracted from the videos we want to analyze. And now we can use this preview to create a montage of video frames. So we opt in for image, stacks, and make montage. Then we can specify the number of rows and columns and confirm. It will result in a video preview that looks like this, or a composite image that assembles frames side by side. In this case, we would want to blur this image a little bit. In ImageJ, we can simply opt in for process and then apply a filter, a blur filter. Here in the preview, we can specify the extent to which we would want to blur this image, perhaps 10 or maybe 8, and confirm. And this would be actually the final analytical artifact that we can use in the context of meme research. The image comes with specific analytical affordances. It accounts for movement, obviously. It enables exploration of video storyboards because it assembles them in the same visual space. Every second of each video is a new frame, so we are able to account for the temporality of movements and gestures. And effectively, it means that imitation patterns come to the fore and that we are able to compare them across videos, which can be quite helpful. Now there is also the second type of visualization we can create using actually the same preview in ImageJ. So I'm simply going to return back here, opt in for image, again stacks, and then we can select either Z project if we want to specify the number of frames we want to visualize manually, or we can opt in for tools and select grouped Z project, and this allows us to compile groups of frames based on the total number of frames that we analyze, frames that we have extracted from 10 videos. In this case, we work with 143 frames, and valid group sizes are, for example, well, one frame is perhaps not very helpful, but 11 or 13. So we can opt in for 11. Here we can apply different projection methods, including some slices, and we will use this method because it basically collapses the frames we want to analyze and presents a sum of them in the same visual space. So here we can confirm. Yeah, and it will result in this type of visualization that clearly captures movements. And if we here play back and forward, we can also move between the videos. So what can we say about this image? With this type of visualization, we clearly engage in a more speculative and playful mode of interpretation. The method of projection foregrounds the background, and it also captures movement. Stable material objects such as, for example, video stickers, but in this context also domestic settings, these elements remain distinct. But dynamic elements become blurry projections, and especially face expression and dance movements here become de-identified. So the more frames are stacked together, the more indistinct the trajectory of movement, something that can be adjusted then depending on the questions you work with and also depending on the material that you use for visualizations. The strength of this method is that by collapsing frames in the same visual space, it captures the shared vibes of these performances, their atmosphere, their composition, lighting, and other aesthetic characteristics. Obviously, you can also combine these two methods and apply them to larger datasets, also simply using static images, for example, video thumbnails. What you see here is such an example. These are vernacular patterns extracted from all videos that we have collected using #BoredInTheHouse. The point here is that each stack represents a vernacular pattern or a style space. These are 10 thumbnails extracted from 10 most liked videos that show bored cats. Then we have empty living rooms, food experiments, outdoor training, indoor dancing, and so on. The point is to provide an overview of different performative styles in this video collection in a way that allows for relational and a little bit more playful sense making. Great, so I hope this was helpful. Thank you for watching this tutorial and have a good day.